mouse is working, but chat isn't. The fuck? I can only see chat in the display. Fuck, man. Oh my god, I'm so pissed. It's like this system exists to make me mad. And that's all. It doesn't exist to improve my life at all. It doesn't exist to help me out. It just exists to piss me off. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh my god. As if there weren't enough things to be mad about in this world. I just think things should work. Is that so much to ask? I almost didn't get on. I almost just called it. Oh my god. I don't know what it is about technology and me. I don't know if it's just like a I mean, realistically, whatever, it's just a matter of luck, and it's a matter of luck, and it's a matter of me not I'm not a big like hardware person. I don't really give a shit about you know, what kind of equipment I'm using. I just get whatever's gonna be whatever is gonna be reliable, you know. I don't know. I got this mouse like. I don't. This mouse is a few years old, and I really have no interest in replacing it if it works, and and sometimes it does work, and when it works, I think, oh great, now I don't have to replace this mouse. I don't get it. Oh my god, it drives me fucking insane. It makes me crazy. It's really, really demoralizing to not have your shit work. It really bums me out. I almost called it, and then I thought, no, let's try it one more time. And now I'm like, you know, scooching the mouse every which way, and look at that. Look how well my mouse works now. Works fine. Does everything I ask it to. Oh my god. This is Logitech. This is not like a bad company. This is not like an off-brand, you know, bullshit company. I went out and got my partner's mouse and plugged it into the system to see if that worked, and it didn't, you know. So like, I don't know if it's and that this is not a cheap computer. I suppose it could be a driver issue. Elon Musk hacked you. It must be. All of technology was declared war against me because of my opinions about Elon. Fuck, man. I don't. Really makes me mad. Really, really makes me mad. I've, like, wasted 45 minutes. That fucking sucks, you know? I don't want to spend my time trying to troubleshoot mice. That's not what I want to do. Okay. Peace and love. It's all peace and love. It's okay. It's okay. It's fine. We're here now. And the mouse is working. I see no issues. Yeah, I was supposed to, I like, everything was working, and I, like, you know, I got all my shit together, turned on the computer, made sure everything was in order, the mouse was working fine, and then when I go to click on start streaming, it just freezes. Why? Why would it do that? Like, I'm not, you know, ultra tech savvy or whatever. I'm not an idiot, you know. It's just I don't know. I don't know. I think probably it's because I just like if I'm not working, if I'm not actively like where you at in the game. We'll see. I'll just pull up my task list here. Missing insects. Yeah, I helped the cryptozoologist. I checked all the traps. I finished the I got more interest or more information about Ruby, so I think we'll probably pursue that today a little more. We found the buoy. It has had no documents in it. This says it had her documents in it, but it didn't. They were gone. Solve the egghead puzzle. Yeah, we got the we got the club fixed up. So we really are sort of beginning on something of a blank slate here. I'm sort of out of finding insulin investment. Okay, so I guess that's a bit of a loose thread, but a bunch of other stuff is done. So basically now, I think what it is that I don't like especially now, like unless I am actively editing something or streaming, I really don't touch this computer, or at least I haven't recently. I don't do a whole lot of work on this computer. I do most of my work on my laptop, so any issue that's happening with this system is just going to go pretty much unnoticed until like the minute I have to do something on it. So I think that's realistically what my issue is here. Hey, the mouse is working fine now, so no problem. We're gonna breathe through our pain and move past our pain and not think about our pain anymore. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. On the list of things that are wrong in this world, the broken mouse is really not that important, but oh man, I sure reacted as if it was. Ain't it funny how that happens? Good lord.
Good morning!
Ooh.
Yeah! Hardcore!
Yeah. Hardcore. It's all hardcore. Everything's hardcore. Everything's hardcore and good and lovely in the world.
Oh, the god of
Ladies look
dance
good,
is
the club is
back!
bumping.
I'm dancing with the god of dance!
Andre is slightly
Goodbye,
less lame.
officer.
Okay.
She's whistling a melody, her trusty contact mic attached to a wooden pulpit. At the sound of your footsteps, she stops what she was doing and turns to you.
Everything's generative.
Hey there.
Everything happens.
I've been
as it
recording some
happens,
new
and
audio from all these beams and rafters.
None of it's for a reason.
The sounds travelling through the wood are pretty cool. Creaks and stuff. Like you're underwater, you know? But like, underwater inside a tree.
Okay.
And no, it's got nothing to do with Contact Mike.
But contact Mike.
No. I actually wanted to thank you for getting me and my friends in here. And we even found some new associates, such as they are.
First stream I've seen is going great already. Yeah. How's everyone
Good,
doing?
I think. Noid is getting a read on the place. I think he finds the carpentry very impressive. Andre's been setting up the compressor and dancing. Egghead's been keeping the party up. He's got the stage under control. Sauna, the programmer, she's doing whatever she does behind that radio computer of hers. She doesn't talk to us much, and the crab man hasn't shown himself, thank God.
Red-haired woman. Okay, that's what we're doing today. We're finding Ruby. Yeah, that's my intention today. I'm determined to find Ruby. Now, can you tell me about your associates?
Sure. You helped us out. I can repay the favor.
Tell me about
What do you want
Suna.
to... Oh, she's a bit odd, I have to say. Doesn't talk much. I'm not really sure how to vibe with her, you know? Seems like she's not in a very good mood most of the time.
I relate.
But earlier today, she told me about Welkins. And she seemed oddly happy, like she had some idea with those little creatures. Some artistic idea. I didn't really listen, I was busy with my mic.
What about Tiago?
Oh, the crab man. Still gives me the creeps the way he moves. But he doesn't actually come down that much, just climbs around the rafters.
Ooh, climbing. Very good, ese. Very good, mi chavo.
I just tried to stay away from the crab man. But he talks to Noid. They seem to have some thing going on.
Oh, I talks to Noid? What for?
Beats me. Noid said they get along somehow. They're both crazy enough, I guess.
Okay, what's he doing
Who
there?
knows? He doesn't really answer our questions, see? Not that it's easy to ask them. What are we supposed to do? Yell up at the tower?
You do the communist quest too? I could look for comrades while I'm looking for Ruby. Maybe Ruby is a comrade, who knows?
Who do you want to know about?
Tell me about Andre.
Andre? He's a cool guy. Doesn't really come off as one, but he is. To me, at least.
She rubs her sides, but not from cold. Her shoulders are relaxed. She must have taken a hit, or she's on an upswing.
He takes care of shit. Sorry. I mean, he's got a vision. For what life should be, you know? He tries to push things until everything falls into place. He's an organizer.
What has he organized?
Nothing. But then again, there's nothing to organise around here either. He really wants this church thing to work. Must have taken it as
Me
a
too.
sign when he found it abandoned like that. Said it was an augury. I don't know where he got that from. Andre's not super intelligent. I've never seen him so psyched about anything though. And he's often psyched. Looks sort of desperate, like it's his last chance or something. Or maybe he was just high. I mean, not that he does drugs, just high, you know?
On his mother's love?
Yes. Anyway.
Could it be that he's balding, him thinking it's his last chance?
Come to think of it, yes.
This is the first time you've heard her laugh.
Yay.
He's in some kind of a self-destruction mode with that hair of his. Bleaching it like that. Probably wants to get rid of it altogether.
Is Andre your boyfriend?
Yes.
Aw. Tell me about the others.
Who do you want to know about?
Did you finish the gun quest for Everett? No, I guess I didn't. We could do that too. Tell me about Noid.
He's a four-burger, I guess, like the rest of us. Okay, maybe not Egg, I don't know about him, but Noid and the rest are from Forberg, making the pilgrimage up north to visit the Elysium. He's real hardcore about the lifestyle.
What does he do?
What do you mean, do? Like, for a living?
No, I meant for breakfast. Yes, for a living.
He's a carpenter, trained and all. He's very good, he just doesn't have the mindset to work like that. In a shop somewhere.
Is that because of his beliefs? The hardcore and the ribs, the spinal cord and stuff?
Not to sound too dramatic, but I wouldn't make light of his belief system when he's around. Noid's a serious person. He's serious about the lifestyle.
What's this pilgrimage you're talking about?
It's just something poor Forberg kids do every spring. To pass the time, we walk the entire length of Boogie Street, up to Jamrock. Or as much as possible.
Why wouldn't it be? I don't understand that question, but sure.
I don't know, man. Have you been down Boogie Street? It's a little bewildering.
Well, let's say I haven't been down Boogie Street. Harry's really reflecting my general mood these days. If I were a sim right now, my moodlet would be tense. I'd have so many tense moodlets.
Okay. Then you should go and take a look, I guess.
I would do both
Boogie
the gun
Street is
quest and the
cool.
communist quest before
It's
you
got a
find
lot of
Ruby.
immigrants and all kinds of different people.
But I want to find Ruby. Okay. I'll do the gun quest. I might just do that if I make it there alive.
Yeah. I hope you do.
Tell me about the others.
Who do you want to know about?
Egghead.
What do you mean?
What does he think he's doing when he yells all that stuff? Oh, I think it's pretty clear what he's doing. He's remarking upon the hardcoreness of life. I don't think that's a question that has to be answered. A question wrongly asked, as they say. I'll ask it anyway. What does he think he's doing when he yells all that stuff?
Oh, that. He's the party boy.
What's a party boy?
Anodic music doesn't
stupid.
really do vocals in the traditional sense. Vocals are thought of as rock. That's to say they're a bit backward. No offence if you like rock music though. Rock music's cool by me.
Pachoo, swish. Your credentials as the resident future man of Revachol are being questioned. Show her you're hip with the times, Gramps.
No offense taken. Go on.
Anyway, even if you don't have vocals, you still need someone to say something every now and then, right? To urge things on. That's where the party boy comes in. He basically just stands on the stage and dances and yells how awesome everything is. It's very catchy.
I understand. People are usually afraid to do things if others aren't already doing them. Dancing makes you dance, like sneezing makes you sneeze, or yawning makes you... Anyway.
Oh, don't be embarrassed, Kim. That was a good interjection. We saw that in practice, didn't we?
Yes, I suppose we did.
Tore that shit up.
Tore it to pieces.
Tell me more about Egg.
What do you want to know?
Where's he from? How long's he been with you guys?
Actually, we don't know where he's from. Or who he is, really. One time we were out partying somewhere in backwater Forburg. Or maybe even Coal City. I can't remember. Maybe it was Coal City.
The worst of the banlieues. A wretched heap of closed-down mines, even west of Jamrock, on the dusty slope of Montmartin, the remotest possible area of Revachon. No one even wants to exploit those people anymore.
Egg was yelling along to some jam someone was spinning, all night long. Just kept yelling until he didn't have a shred of voice left. When the sun came up over the mines... There were mines? Yeah, it was in Coal City. Egg came with us. He made this wheezing puppy dog sound all the way back. Couldn't even speak.
Jeez.
It was definitely Coal City, because it took us 2 days to walk back to the fort. He just wheezed the whole way.
He's just
We never
party
really asked why he
manifested.
came with us, or who he was. I think his name is Jermaine. People are sweet.
Oh.
You can see it must have been a great night. The memory causes her to go silent for a moment or two. You wish you'd been there.
I do wish I'd been there. Tell me about the others.
Who do you want to know about?
Tell me about yourself.
Me? Again?
Yes, I forgot. Tell me about yourself.
I told you, I'm a silver bird.
There's that phrase again. Really reminds you of something.
What does that mean?
It means I don't answer questions about myself.
I'm a police officer. You have to answer me.
Is there a law that would stop me from lying, though?
No.
That would depend on the circumstances.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Some other questions.
Sure.
Have you seen... oh.
O pasaro
Yes!
de agint. It flutters by your ear. It's what the Zemoyaki, the Gradian community in Revachol, call a person who never breaks under interrogation. It's an organized crime term.
I don't remember how how my psyche pronounced that. Opassadagint.
Excuse me?
She's attempting to remain calm, but the phrase made her flinch.
I remember now. It's the Zemliaki term for someone who won't break under questioning, an organized crime term.
What do you mean?
The silver bird.
All right. My father was a Zemyaki. He died years ago. He was a bad man. Not a lot of good things to say about him and what he did. He bought the family a huge house, so we got to live, at least temporarily, in a giant castle in Jamrock. And then he died.
What happened next?
What do you think? The competition came and took everything away. It was like in a war zone. So after his death, we had nothing left, and we were in danger. My mother had to change her name, mine too. We left it all behind.
Sure about that? What about this drug lab plan?
It was a stupid idea, and I'm still disappointed I came up with it.
Aren't there any local authorities who might look down on such activities?
I took that into account, of course. Coordinated the operation with the débardeurs. Else they might get unhappy.
So what you're saying is Everard authorized this?
Not in
Ooh,
person,
the
but
thought
I let him know.
quickens.
You can't do anything without
Oh,
the fat
shit.
ones getting wind. It
Oh,
wasn't too difficult to convince him,
Hampton,
really.
you freaked me out. I thought my camera died. I did change the set. I swapped the bookshelves and the computer so that they're on opposite walls because the floor on the side that I'm on right now was starting to sag underneath the weight of all the books and also the books on the other side of the wall. So yeah, I'm afraid we can't see the lovely sunset outside my window anymore. Instead, you have to look at my outerwear. Greatest apologies. I'm going to put a door on that closet eventually, but I do kind of like the I like the feng shui of this frame a little better, to be honest. I think the lines are working for me. So I'm not mad about it, but I would prefer it if y'all didn't have to look at my jackets and belts. So we'll see if I can fix that soon. At least put a curtain on that shit. Hello, primo. Yeah, don't be saying gay camera at me. If the camera ain't gay. If my camera isn't prideful, don't tell me it is. Freak me out. I don't need any more technological issues today. Holy shit.
It's a good thing you ended that mess, though. I felt I was turning dad-wise into a corrupt business person. Unpleasant.
Maybe I'll do a little bookcase tour on stream one day.
Come on,
That'd
this
be
is
fun.
all fine. But you don't have anything on Everard now. That's not how these things work.
We should confront Everard about this. Yes. Maybe we can manipulate him using the information.
No, I don't think it would lead anywhere with Everard. He's just going to deny it.
First we need a YouTube video, then Patreon stuff, and then the bookshelf. Yeah, maybe I'll make a... that's not a bad idea, man. Maybe that's better. It's just make a Patreon specific video. Yeah, that's probably what I'll do. Well, first I gotta make an actual video. I did some work on it today. Some good work, so
Yeah.
soon.
Have you seen Everard?
Soon for sure. I don't believe it as I'm saying it, but I'm trying to behave as my own manager, and if I had a manager, or if I were managing myself, that's what I would say. That it's going to happen soon. Very soon. Like, in the next 3 weeks or so soon. Have you seen a red-haired woman around?
No.
Are you sure?
Just no?
Praying for you, thank you. Thank you, I need it.
It's
You know,
pretty
help me
desolate
find
here.
that.
I only hear the dogs bark at night and see the shadows move down the coast.
Teenagers skulking around. Gang members looking for a hole in the Union's defenses. Maybe Ruby too. But she wouldn't be able to tell from here.
Fan of the rug in your background. Is it deer hide? It is deer hide. There's a pretty thriving invasive population of axis deer here in Texas that were of course imported for trophy hunting. One of my uncles does like landscaping for some rich Texas assholes, and they're always like getting rid of stuff, and that was one of them several years back. So that's where that came from. Doop, 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 doop. Okay. That's good. No neighbors to complain about noise, and you get the club going.
Exactly. It's our chance to turn the grim desolation into an overwhelmingly fun dance party.
That's the spirit. Okay. Does no one
Yo,
have anything
mate.
else to tell me?
What's on your mind?
Put skill points into conceptualization. Okay, maybe later. Take care. Let's see.
Yes,
Anything
what is
else
it?
to say to me? No. The answer is no. Okay. Okay. Well, since we have to go ask Everard this question about the drug lab anyway, I suppose we may as well go track down my missing gun. Conceptualization was the one that understand creativity, see art in the world. That seems useful, maybe. But suggestion also seems useful, perhaps. Can't raise shivers anymore. Yeah, the guy who introduced starlings to North America. Yup. I know. There are certainly starlings in Texas, but here I didn't see nearly as many in California. What we have is grackles. Holy shit, so many grackles. They're pretty charming in their way, but yeah, super, super invasive. Ooh, my mouse is doing that thing again. Okay. Okay, let's do suggestion. That sounds useful. Texas is real? I'm afraid so, unfortunately. It really does seem like a... Texas is like a state that should rightfully belong in Disco Elysium. It does not seem real. Okay, let's go talk to Everard. Hi! I was really mad because my mouse wasn't working. But now it's working. It took about 45 minutes, but now it's working. I even tried your mouse. And it was like, no. Yep. I touched it, so it's probably gonna break. Sorry. No, I didn't. I don't know if it's because, like, we moved the computer and unhooked everything and it just, like, wigged out about it. So far. Yeah, I mean, I had to set everything up, so, and then, like, I pressed recording, and then I went to go press streaming, and it was like, no. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I was saying earlier that, like, because I don't really use this system unless I'm actively editing something or streaming, and I don't really touch it otherwise, it's like any problems that need to be troubleshot just don't arise until the moment I need it to work, you know? So I think that's mostly my issue. But yeah, I was pretty pissed. Really not happy. For a couple minutes. It's better now though. Probably sort of a shorter stream because I wasted a bunch of energy being mad about the mouse, but okay. Okay, love you. Oh yes, the puppy is here. Still can't believe you're a Texan now. I was always a Texan. I was born here. I'm from this state. I don't like it any more than you do. Oop.
There. Do you smell that?
Smell what?
Can you not detect that inimitable whiff of dissatisfaction and restlessness? That sense that the world is in need
A
of
comrade.
dramatic, even violent reordering?
Deep breath.
Can you smell it now? You inhale. The cilia along your olfactory epithelium tingle with excitement as they sift through the swirling morass of industrial odors.
So windy outside. Insane.
First come the smells of the agitated strikebreakers, layers of body oil and sweat, over-buttered meals pulled from bake-like lunch pails, the biting stench of lye soap. And then there's the slowly oxidizing metal gates, the scent of stale grease emanating from every crack.
Texas is Florida, but not really. Oh, I think you're underestimating the many different flavors of trash that exist in the United States of America. The chicks, you forgot to show them to us last year. I didn't forget to show you anything. The chicks live outside now. They no longer come indoors. In order for me to show you the chicks, I would have to, like, go outside, grab one, walk her back to the house. No. No. No, if you want to see the chicks, follow me on Instagram. They're very good girls, though. They're getting very big. I love them so much.
Still smelling for communists, detective?
Yes.
Well, I'll be over here when you're finished.
His impatience is feigned. He's curious to see how this personal errand shakes out.
So much flat Texas land. What the fuck is the state even doing here? Yeah. It's a lot of nothing in Texas. And a lot of something. The city's here huge. Oh, too huge.
What the lieutenant thinks is irrelevant. Your politico-olfactory cortex is lighting up like a holiday display.
10% is chicks
it's
content.
pointing you
90%
right
is millennial
to
memes.
that railing.
Yeah. I just, you know, really what it is that I have such a, I have such cognitive dissonance every time I use any kind of meta product. You know, I don't want to post there. I don't want to post on YouTube. Like I don't want to post on these platforms. They suck. You know, they're actively making the world a worse place to live in, and it makes me like contributing to that makes me feel bad, which it really sucks because it's my job. So I don't know. I haven't decided what that means. I don't know. Like, if I had any principles, I'd probably stop using them altogether and go choose a different profession. But I don't know how, you know, on the other hand, I don't really want to. I like making videos. I like, you know, I like doing this. I like streaming. I think it's fun. Nebula, I would love to go to Nebula, but they are invite only and nobody's invited me yet. So what are you gonna do? I mean, even with Nebula, like, you still gotta post on Instagram, you know. You probably still have to post on YouTube. I don't think there's a single creator on I don't know. There probably is, but like they're very. I would hazard a guess that vanishingly few creators on Nebula are also are like only doing Nebula. You know. No way. That's not feasible. Texas is dry, Florida is humid. Oh, I assure you that much of Texas is quite humid. I live on the very border of you know, the line where Texas, the line between western Texas, cowboy Texas, and southern Texas. I live right there. That's why it's so fucking windy here. Start writing books. I'd love to. There are a lot of things I'd love to do. Okay, anyway. Mañana. Yes, hell yeah. Mañana, Call Me Mañana is gonna be my comrade in arms.
Yes, now's your chance to establish contact.
Sorry if this has been asked. Just no questions are annoying at all. If they're asked in good faith. Yeah. Any media theorists you think don't get the recognition they deserve? Oh God, I don't know about media theorists. I mean, I kind of think that all media theorists don't get the recognition they deserve. Even people like Marshall McLuhan are not commonly known, you know, just in society, like even in sort of educated society. I think there are very few media theorists that are well known at large, but they should be. I think that you know, after we get out of this situation, such as it is, and if we still have, you know, if getting ourselves out of this situation leaves us with pieces of a functional society that can be successfully put together again, like like media studies and media literacy, and an overview of media theorists writ large should be an aspect of public education. So until that happens, I think every single media theorist is under-recognized. I guess I'd say, and like again, like this is Julia Kristeva is not an under-recognized theorist by any means, you know. But I'd say maybe her. She's not even necessarily a media theorist. She's more like a theorist of philosophy of horror when she talks about media at all. But yeah, I think she's sort of underutilized. But I would. Yeah. Okay.
But be easy about it. Communists have been known to charge when startled.
Hola, Wandering Man. How can I help you?
Don't be scared. That weasel I visited, turns out he has one hell of a colonial mug collection.
Yeah, the janitor who gave me the key to his apartment said the guy's a bit of an asshole.
Drop her name in chat if terrible is spelling. Yes, could. Anytime anybody talks about abjection, they're drawing from Julia Kristeva. objector is what she focused on. Okay. See how we're all busy concentrating on the racist mugs? That's what the ruling class wants.
Yeah, it would be really bad if we got into an argument about it. Waste of a good noon. Or afternoon. Or night. Anyway, thanks for helping out, friend.
It's fun Googling someone saying alleged collaboration with the communist regime in Bulgaria is one of the subheads on Wikipedia. Yeah. Yeah. She's cool. Listen, brother. There's something important I need to talk to you about.
What's that, Boya?
Now's your chance. Remember, communists are notoriously skittish, so it's best to insinuate your way in.
I'm investigating a peculiar smell, one with revolutionary implications.
Could be coming from one of the jam lorries. Cargo's been sitting out for a while.
It involves our mutual friend, Cross.
Don't think I've ever met a Kras personally. Then again, I've never been to Grad.
Okay, maybe it's time to abandon the subtle approach.
I'm looking for some people who know how to really grind a sausage, if you know what I mean.
Have you tried a butcher shop?
Okay, maybe it's time to abandon the subtle approach.
I'm looking for a secret cabal of mole people.
You might have to look elsewhere for help with that.
Okay, maybe it's time to abandon the subtle
I'm looking for
approach.
communists.
Ah, now I see. Can't say I'm surprised. You seem to take your communism seriously. Not a bad thing, mind you. It's good for a man to take time to think about the whole socio-political world picture.
Oh, he certainly likes to take his time with things, especially when politics are at issue.
So you've given up copying and now you're hunting comunistas. Care to say why?
I'm on a sort of quest, you see, to develop my political potential, and I need their help.
A fellow plains roamer in search of greater understanding. A classic story.
You got me.
I wish I could help. Unfortunately, I don't know many comunistas.
I thought you young guys were all communists.
Some are, some aren't. It's a big institution, room for all kinds. Comunistas, feminist supremacists, even an anti-institutional boyadero.
How every student or single-minded purpose is to bully you. Buddy, that's just you, I think. That's mostly just you. I appreciate your spirit, though. One has to imagine the community before they can realize it in the world.
There is warmth in his voice when he talks about the Union. Whatever his personal politics, this is his home.
He's the best. I love him.
All right, so if he isn't personally a communist, he's definitely hanging out with them.
But you know, I did meet a genuine ideologo a few months ago. Perhaps he's your guy.
Hampton, you don't have to make up funny stories about you bullying me. You don't have to put on this persona to get singled out in the chat. It's okay. Well, you don't bully the rest of technology's job. What's an ideologo?
You know, a guy with a theory. Someone who likes to pit his theory against other theories in deadly theory combat.
How did you meet him?
It was late one night as I was leaving the arbor. He was waiting on the corner in a bright white jacket, classic Sarameritian style. He asked me for a light. We shared cigarettes. Then he asked me if I ever thought about getting into some of the extra physical branches of communism.
What does that mean?
No idea. I took it to mean he was asking me to join some sort of underground cell. A very old school organizing technique. The sort of thing comunistas used to do before the revolution.
What did you tell him?
The same thing I always tell people who try to press some claim on me. I said, every boyadero rides alone.
Fair. How do I find this guy?
I couldn't tell you. Once I declined his offer, we finished our cigarettes and he disappeared back into the night. Just before he melted into the shadows, he turned to me and said, "Remember Dobrava and Abadanais." And then he was gone.
What do you think that means? No. Who are Dobrava and Abadanais?
I don't know.
Sure.
Guess not everyone remembers.
Okay. Uh-oh. There goes my mouse again. Cool. Love this. There we go. What do you think it means?
Been wondering about that myself. Some comunista inside talk could be. Not meant for the wider public. They love that kind of thing. You'd have to ask someone who knows the ideologo personally. I have to say though, it sounds like you found yourselves a proper hunt.
The man whispers a jaunty tune. A coastal breeze ruffles his hair.
There's a thought you can get from manana that makes you smarter when you smoke cigarettes. Shit. Okay. I'm gonna keep talking to him then. Oh, come on. This is happening to me. Oh my god. Dialogue, you can click the numbers that correspond with the line. Ugh. Before it used to be gay camera, now it's idle mice. Welcome back, Dark Ages. Yeah, you fucking said it. Oh, thank you. Oh, that is helpful. Thanks. Yeah. I am pissed. Shit should work. Doesn't seem that complicated to me. Oh. Got to open a whole can of worms. What's your thoughts on interdisciplinary research? Do you think it's underfunded and underappreciated as an outsider academia? I feel that way. So many interesting ideas come from it. Yes, I think interdisciplinary research is the future of academia. I think that interdisciplinary research is the direction that academia has to go if it wants to retain any relevancy in this world, because the way that the world works is not through, different siloed departments all doing their own thing. It's the result of all of these forms of study, all these disciplines coming together and making sense of the world. Like every single one of them has a different perception of how things work and some kind of new perspective to add to it, and treating academia as though it can provide anything useful to the world by just working independently is like all the blind men trying to describe an elephant. It's going to result in a fundamentally distorted image of the world. My program is fundamentally interdisciplinary. Oh, look at Kim clipping through the staircase like that. Wow, Kim. And I really, really appreciate that about it. I kind of feel as if I may have left my program entirely if it weren't interdisciplinary, because I can't think of any scenario in which being just in a film program or just in a history program or an econ program or a philosophy program would be able to keep my interest, because things just don't work that way. Yes, it's underfunded. While you're here, check the container. What container? It's underfunded, but I think that's beginning to change. The course I'm helping build right now is very, very interdisciplinary between anthropology, media, and history. And all of them feed into each other in a way that I think is really useful and benefits scholarship overall. And I think that's the way that academia needs to go. Because that's the way the world works. Blue container on the brain. you know, and since I tried another mouse, I have to think that it's not the mouse itself, it's something else. It's the drivers, or it's something, God, please don't let it be hardware. Please don't let it be a hardware issue. I can't. I can't. Have you done the Get a Reality Lowdown by check? Nice. I have asked her about reality. I don't remember if that was the particular phraseology it came in. But I think so, yeah. I'll try to pass it back. Blue container. Blue container. Hardware shit. Fuck you, Boxhead. Sorry, that was very aggressive. It can't be a hardware issue. I'm finished with hardware issues. Please no. There's a control panel on the fridge. See mouse and keyboard sponsorships. People will insist on only giving me microphone sponsorships. Well, offering. I don't take them. But I don't need one. And I'm certainly not going to shill for one. Oh, this?
A rusting control panel with several knobs. 2 buttons marked Marche and Arrête are faded with use. It seems to control the large crane above. A container is attached to its hook block. Marche. On. Arrête. Off.
Press. Marche.
With a loud grind, the crane shifts overhead, moving a massive metal container through the air. With a surprisingly quiet thunk, the crane places the container down. This crane was built with a purpose, which has now been fulfilled. To move this container.
What's inside the container?
Who can say? All you know is, it's special.
I can't see how that was worth the records, except for seeing the crane in action, which I admit was satisfying.
As a morbid zoologist, what are your favorite biblical stories? I don't remember which disciple it is because I'm a terrible Catholic who didn't, who doesn't study my Bible, but after Jesus comes back and one of the disciples is like, walking down the beach and comes across Jesus and he's like, Jesus? And Jesus is like, I don't know what you're talking about. I think that's pretty funny. Jesus had a sense of humor. Job being seduced by his daughters after leaving Sodom and Gomorrah is a pretty good one too, I must say. Probably think of there are probably more compelling and inspiring biblical stories, but I don't know. What does it say about me that these are the ones that come to mind? They amuse me. Press Arrête.
The crane does not return to its original position. It does not move at all.
Mexican Catholic. Are you Catholic still? No. Not really. I mean, it's, it's the faith I grew up in. I think that, like, if you grow up in a faith, there's just a lot of, there's a lot of power in the symbology of it, no matter what you do. So, like, I still do the thing every time I walk into a cathedral because I don't, it's just what's done, I still touch the holy water. I still take communion if somebody makes me go to mass, but I have no respect at all for the actual organization of Catholicism or the hierarchy of it, or the command system. You know, the system of authority I find really, I simply reject it out of hand, and I don't think that you can really be a Catholic if you, you know, if you disrespect the institution of Catholicism. So, what are you gonna do? Oh, and also I don't believe in God.
Stands in a cargo container, just one of many in the yard.
I don't believe in God in the way that I don't believe in a man in the sky. You know, I believe that but you know, to be fair, I think that the whole like man in the sky kind of image of God, the sort of fundamentalist God that Protestants and you know, fundamentalist Catholics or sort of trad-cath types have in mind is a pretty severe bastardization of the idea of God. I think that whatever God is described just as well by Christianity as it is by you know, by Buddhism, you know, which doesn't have a central deity at all. It's just that like, I think that all religions come from the basic fact that there is an unknowability about human consciousness and human life that that's impossible to describe, and is certainly not adequately described by imagining you know, a granddaddy in the sky. That's stupid. You know, but you know, I think all religions are a sort of attempt to grapple with the fact of human consciousness and what a scary and difficult process it is to come to terms with your own consciousness. So, yeah, you know, yeah, I have a lot of respect for religion as a construct. I think it's a very human thing, and I'm you know, as somebody concerned with ecologies and concerned with the health of animals, I think that all creatures are sort of called upon to express themselves in whatever way is most natural. And I think one of the most natural ways to express one's humanity is to engage in spirituality, you know, whether that's through organized religion or not, although I'd prefer it not be organized. And there are religions that don't have a central organization system, so if we could bring back those, that'd be great. God, I gotta play Cyberpunk. Like a serious Santa. Yeah, exactly. That's stupid. No thanks. Okay. I think there's something special about this container.
You do?
Yeah. Why do
Because
you
I
think?
don't.
Oh, why not?
There are a million containers here. Why are you fixating on this one?
I don't know. It just feels special.
It's a cargo container, detective, just like all the others. We are not here to interact with containers. We are here to talk to the Union, right?
Open the door.
You attempt to turn the handle, to no avail. The doors seem to be mechanically locked.
I have some respect for Pope Francis. There's a long lineage of great South American Catholics. Pope Francis is great. But you know, but it's a similar thing where it's like if Trump were instead a leftist dictator, I'd still hate him. You know, because it's just it's like that's the problem with dictators regardless, is that like it's the structure itself that is a failure. It doesn't matter if you have a benevolent dictator or a malicious dictator. We happen to have a malicious dictator right now, but it wouldn't matter, you know, because the system itself is rotten. I like Pope Francis a lot. He's a Franciscan Catholic. That's that's sort of the tradition that I was raised in. That's the type of Catholicism, the sect of Catholicism that I respect the most, and that I find the most inspiring. And yeah, you know, I don't think it's a complete accident that he's a South American Catholic. South American Catholics tend to be more influenced by liberation theology, and the idea that and you know, post Vatican II type of Catholicism, where we're refocusing the point of this religion, this entire venture that that we're you know, that we supposedly build our entire lives, or I say we as if I'm still a Catholic, but I mean, you get what I mean. And so liberation theology is like refocusing the point of Catholicism around the poor, the sick, the needy, and the downtrodden, like the things that Jesus told us to do, you know? And so, yeah, a whole lot of liberation theologists are South American, because South America had all those dictatorships and has had all that poverty and all that oppression over the 20th century. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense that it's, and that's why South American Catholics are you know, especially to Catholics of the United States and Europe, considered sort of like, you know, oh, they're communists, they're socialists, they're you know, radical activists. They're not radical activists. They're doing, you know, Christian doctrine. That's what they're doing. You know, they're advocating for intervention into issues of sickness and poverty and oppression and despair and pain, which is what Jesus asked us to do. So, yeah. First pope who wasn't European. He is technically, I think, European, to be fair. Like, what's the word I'm looking for? Ethnically. He is ethnically European. I think his parents are Spanish or something. But, yeah. But still, no, I mean, he's South American, you know, he's in that culture. Can you be a leftist dictator? Really? I mean, it depends entirely on how you define leftism and how you define dictator. I think you'll find a lot of Marxist-Leninists who will say that you can absolutely be a leftist dictator. Did you extrapolate the experience of praying to something similar, like meditation or something else? Yeah, I've found peace in meditation. I find no peace in praying, as if I'm like the like not to pick on Mormons, but the whole idea that like of direct revelation, that like whatever thought you have is God, you know, and you can just talk to God by talking to yourself, basically, and having just and like your internal monologue isn't just you know, an expression of your consciousness. It's actually a dialogue, a consistent relationship, you know, a personal relationship with God, as you know, American Protestants often say. I've never found any kind of that. It just feels like I'm talking to myself, because I am. Have you seen the news from Greece? No, what's happening in Greece? Hang on. Is it something important? Greece announces plan on maritime use irking neighboring Turkey. I assume that's not what you're talking about. Greece admits plans on maritime use after falling foul of EU rules. Is that what you're talking about? Israeli collapses and dies during Passover vacation in Greece. That's surely not that. Migrants can be deported back to Greece. No. Well, to be fair, I've heard of that none of that news has made it to my desk, so now I'm up to date on my Greece news. Shout out Heretic, such a great Mormon documentary. Heretic is a very good movie, one of my favorites last year. Greece has been protesting, like riots. Since when has Greece not been protesting and rioting? They're great at that. Their riot dogs are some of the best. Last time I prayed in the past 5 years was when I was on a rickety roller coaster and scared shitless. Oh, you're about to have your own Final Destination moment. Have to do anything to do with the train accident scandal. Okay, anyway.
To your left, the lieutenant considers your actions with some puzzlement.
Knock on the
No
door.
reply. The knock produces a hollow ring of metal. Doesn't sound like there's anything inside the container.
Persuade it.
Why are you even trying to open a door with rhetoric?
Because getting physical wasn't an option.
Because what wasn't an option?
Never mind.
Are you satisfied, detective?
Put skills into rhetoric. Ooh, it's already so high. I already have so many. maybe. Nothing more. I've heard Sinners is good, but I don't see it tomorrow. Why didn't you save? Because I didn't know that there was gonna be a... How's Iggy? Oh my gosh! You just reminded me I have to give him some water. He's good. He ate last week. That's all that's been going on in his life. I think I'm gonna go see Alex Garland's new movie this week. I keep hearing good things about it, but I'm gonna reserve judgment because people gave good reviews to Civil War 2. And look how that turned out. I've never been more disappointed in sort of leftist
Yes,
literati.
of course. Now we're on the right track.
Hey,
It smells
warfare,
like
yes.
we're getting crates and pallets calling to mind. Vast stands of winter pines. A swirl of ancient odors absorbed by heavy carpet fibers. But also a pervasive, treacly sweetness that somehow reminds you of cola nuts.
Alex is a good director, but I joke he only makes A24 slop these days. Man, it's just like... I'm curious, what's everybody's definition of slop? I haven't decided. It seems important for studying the media of today.
The whole place could probably use a good deep cleaning.
I hate the naming scheme, by the way. Yeah, totally. Warfare. Could you be more generic?
Well, smelling much communism around the Union boss's office?
Like, it seems like all his other movies have fairly evocative titles that sort of encompass the thematic elements of the movie, you know? Like, I think Men would be a much different movie if it wasn't called Men. Annihilation is a very good title, although he didn't come up with it, to be fair. Hush, Kim, I'm detecting.
Meanwhile, Everard Clare clatters away on his typewriter, willfully indifferent to your presence.
It's not a fishing rod, is it? It's...
Mr. Dubois, I hear the meeting with Titus was a glowing success. That's such a relief. Titus can be a handful sometimes.
28 years later, yeah, looks good.
Now, what can Everard Clare do for you today?
What to do first? Let's just fire on all cylinders. I'm looking for a cell of underground communists. Can you help me?
Mr. Dubois, really? Do I look like a man who has time for underground communists? I'm as above ground as it gets.
That's a non sequitur, if you've ever heard one.
Let's drop the funny stuff. I'm trying to make contact with my revolutionary brethren.
Sure thing, Harry. We're all business now. The answer is still no. I'm a busy man, as you can see. I don't block off time on my schedule for underground types.
What's the best movie title? Ooh. I like titles. I don't know about best, okay, but I like titles that are a phrase, like a declarative sentence, like I'm thinking of ending things. You were never really here, you know? I don't know, something about titles like that. Get me going. Make me happy. Make me think I'm in for something interesting. I think slop is like the food. Like I think people can just consume without much tasting, chewing, savoring, etc. I think it's actually about how people engage with it, not about how people make it. Yeah, I think that's a good point. Pig slop, you know. The pig doesn't know what it's eating. The pig might enjoy the process of eating, but doesn't process eating cognitively as its own experience. You know, the pig is not distinguishing between the carrots in its slop and the tallow in its slop. Yeah, I think that's Hundreds of Beavers, yes. That is a great title. And a great movie. I was having fun as for Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. What do you think about Killer Clowns from Outer Space? That's pretty good. Tells you exactly what you're in for.
That note of contempt in his voice is sincere, sire.
You've already spoken with Manana, as I understand. I'm afraid I don't have anything else for you on this subject.
That's all you're going to get out of him, it appears.
Now, was there anything else you wish to discuss today?
Yeah, it's done. I mailed the signatures you asked me to mail.
The Golden Boy returns once more. Wonderful. Simply wonderful, Harry. Of course, I already knew this. My friend, the mailman, confirms the letter is on its way. You've done a great thing today. You've given the children of Martinez a future and proven to be a true man of the left. I can finally trust you now. You're in my inner circle. You too, Mr. Kitsuragi. We can talk about anything. The strike, the murder, your lost gun. Nothing is off the table.
Nobody's ever heard the title Hundreds of Beavers and not been interested. Yeah, it's a perfect title, in my opinion. Other reports I hear about warfare are just about how realistic and gory it is, and quite frankly, I'm tired of gun/warfare realism standing in for doing something actually interesting. I completely agree. My partner's coworker saw it and said it was pretty good, and but I mean, at least to hear my partner say it, he mostly had opinions about the realism and said that it was quite realistic, and the the gunplay was good, and the choreography and all the, you know, all the guns worked the way they should, but you know, he didn't say anything else about it. So it's like, I'm so unimpressed by realism. You know, who gives a shit? Oh my god, we do not go to the movies. We do not engage with storytelling because we want it to be a completely accurate simulacrum of real life. That's dumb. You know. Like, hi.
I hear it's good.
You hear it's good?
My combat veteran friends say it's one of the better, more realistic war movies that have been made in very long time.
Yeah, but I'm talking about, but like realistic how? Realistic mechanically, or realistic in terms of like emotional, you know what I mean? Okay, just, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. I'm sick of people saying that the physical realism is enough to make something a good movie. It isn't, you know.
No, but
That's the kind of logic that gets us live action Snow White.
what I was told today verbatim was that it reminds you that Navy SEALs are human beings and regular just standard infantry guys.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. And apparently the performance is very good. Narratively, I don't know. It is based on a true story, and because of that, being a military movie, I think it has value. Because all the fake ones never work. Like all the bullshit made up, like Fury is a wonderful example. Not a very good movie because like it just doesn't. There's
Hurt
something
Locker.
intangible. Yeah, you're like, this is weird. Why is this weird? This is also took place in like 2003, 2005. So it's 20 years since. So it would be like, you know, the equivalent of, you know, we're talking about Black Hawk Down. That movie came out like 4 or 5 years after the incident happened. So like, you know, this is the equivalent of making a Vietnam movie in the 90s.
Yeah. Let's go see it this week.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna catch up here. Doop, 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 doop. Even though it's just a place name, there's something weirdly intriguing about Brokeback Mountain. Yes, that's a very good title. If you haven't read the short story it's based on, you should. It's very good. So is the movie. The movie's great. Like fantasy readers raving about the magic system. Yes, precisely. Yeah, I'm so over this. You know, the cultural moment where it's going to seem so cringe in a couple generations. I'm so over this cultural moment we're in, where we judge the the quality of everything based upon how internally consistent it is. Who gives a fuck? The like acting as if that's the best way to judge the quality of anything is how we get motherfuckers like Elon Musk, you know, modeling everything they do, everything they make, off pop culture, you know, as if that's gonna magically produce it. Like it's like we're accepting the symbol for something as the thing itself, and that's not good. That's not appropriate. That's not what stories are for, and it's you know, it degrades stories to behave as if it is. My mouse isn't working again. Son of a fuck. Okay, there it goes. Fix anything if you hit it hard enough. All the gun and warfare realism at some point just feels like wankery. Who cares if they reload a lot or some shit? Yeah, I agree to an extent. I will say that there's like, especially with action movies and especially with horror movies, I think there is something to the idea that like, that the process, like that like war is such a physical experience, and such a you know, a human activity that depends so much on a certain kind of physicality and a certain kind of choreography, basically, that I think, you know, I think there's a benefit to war movies being realistic in that way, but I mean, it's just like anything. It's just a factor in your movie being good. You can also have a war movie that's not, you know, physically realistic at all, but is emotionally realistic. That's kind of what Come and See is, you know, like it's physically realistic in some ways, but like the way that the camera is moving is not, like that's not realistic at all. That's not attached to any, you know, it's not like a cinema verite kind of system. Like the camera is very, very much taking its own perspective, and the editing is weird, and you know, the close-ups are weird. It's not pretending to be just like an unconcerned observer the way the camera is in Civil War, and so the effect is like really, really powerful, you know. So internal consistency take such a film bro shit. Yes. Is our obsession with internal consistency and realism tied to our belief in scientific materialism? Yes, it absolutely is. I actually did a fair amount of thinking and reading about that, and a little bit of writing. I'm gonna touch upon that in my Final Destination video. Basically about how, you know, the point I'm making there is essentially that, you know, Final Destination is a very like, people say it's postmodern, and it is, but like but aesthetically it is, and in terms of like the way that its narrative constructs itself, it is very modern in the sense that it relies very, very heavily on this like portraying this situation we've gotten ourselves into as in modern civilization, where like we can't describe, where like we have I'm not making any sense, where like we have a very, very strong degree of material illiteracy in our society, where like I can tell you like vaguely how a car works, you know, I can tell you vaguely how electricity works, but I couldn't, you know, disassemble my computer monitor and then tell you what all the pieces do. You know, I probably couldn't put it back together. If I could, it'd take a long ass time. And we rely so much on all of these material systems that we don't understand. And the ultimate effect of that is that we're in this position where, you know, just like in prehistory, just like before all this technology existed, we're in a position where all of the things we come into contact with are given this sort of mystical quality, and anything that's mystical automatically kind of inspires a sort of fear, you know, This is why the term is God-fearing. You are literally in fear of God. You are in fear of the things around you that can't be explained and can't be understood. And you have to make peace with that no matter what, and the entire like ruse of modern society is that you don't have to worry about any of the material facts of your life, because you're surrounded by all these things and all these systems that do your worrying for you and just make it so that you don't have to think about those things. But we are not creatures that are capable of not thinking about those things, like we have to. It's part of what we do. We are meaning-making creatures, and even if the things that we would have worried about in the past are fixed, we'll find something else to worry about. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, come on, mouse. Okay, there you go. I think the more you look at everything, the more you realize kind of nobody actually gives a fuck about story and art and stuff in terms of scale that's worth money. Well, the worth money is sort of the operative part of that, isn't it? I think that if we detached the profit motive from art, then you would see quite an immediate change in that. I think a great example of physical realism only working with emotional realism is the famous Saving Private Ryan opening scene. Sure, they made it super historically accurate, but there are tons of filmic techniques used to actually make the scene so impactful. There have been a zillion realistic scenes before or since, but people remember that one. Yeah, well, I mean, at the time also, it was, I don't think it would hit quite the same way today, right? Because Saving Private Ryan came out in 1996? 5 even? 7? I don't remember. But in the 90s, it was not considered like the thing to do to make your war movie super realistic. That was sort of an art house thing, and realistic war movies and blockbusters were sort of mutually exclusive, and it was very, very shocking for people to be confronted with that kind of violence at the very, very beginning of a movie. I don't think it would hit quite the same now. Son of a bitch. Okay, there it goes again. Just gotta hit it, I guess. Art in any form is manipulation. It could never, and it shall never be realistic. I get what you mean. I will amend that and say that art in any form is communication. I don't think it's necessarily accurate. Again, I know what you mean, but like I don't think manipulation is exactly what that is. Because I don't think that. I think manipulation implies some sort of subterfuge, like some sort of dishonesty, and I don't think that I think there is such a thing as honest communication. I think most communication that we do is honest. Really like the casual brutality in 1980. I still haven't seen 1918, but they did the same thing in All Quiet on the Western Front. Real good. Real upsetting. Share books on what you just said about scientific stuff. I'm reading a book right now called Cyber-Libertarianism. Right? Here, look it up. Cyber-Libertarianism. Yeah, it's called Cyber-Libertarianism, the Right-Wing Politics of Digital Technology. It just came out last year, and the writer was a digital humanist and professor at University of Virginia, I think. He just died. Very sad. But yeah, I was very excited to see that because, oh man, part of me wishes that I had just gone ahead and gotten my dissertation like done really like as fast as possible, because everybody is like, making my like writing my thesis for me. But that's okay. It's fine. It'll be more useful for scholarship as a whole. But he's basically making my point that like that digital technology is basically predisposed against any kind of democratic activity or organization or, you know, community building, or common interests. And part of that is, you know, this whole idea that reality is something that can be programmed. And I think that assumption has gone pretty much unchallenged until very, very recently. And now we're in a position of like, okay, well, if technology can't be programmed, and technology is not just some big, you know, system, some big machine that can be understood as a bunch of moving pieces working together, even if we can't describe all the pieces. If that's not what reality is, then what is it? Which is pretty, like a pretty disturbing question, I think, you know, pretty exciting. It's a good time to be a scholar in that way. People thought if we filmed documentaries a certain way in a certain style, it imbued it with more truth. Yeah, the idea that communication can be like more or less, like designed to be more or less ontologically truthful, I think is the issue that we're really having to grapple with. And we just like haven't really figured out a way to say it that isn't like, well, I'm just living my truth, you know. And I think the missing piece is that that perspective is not saying anything fundamentally different, because it's defining truth in terms of individual experience. And I think what we're swiftly discovering in all sorts of disciplines is that reality is not individual experience. We do not live in a solipsistic universe. Reality is something that is created together, that everybody contributes, everybody and everything. Every plant, animal, mineral contributes to reality. And it's something that's being made constantly all the time. It's something, and it's not something that you can predict, and it's not something that you can program. It's something that's imminent. You're in it, and you know, that, like, this is a problem that I see in myself, that like I'm a person who gets a lot of decision paralysis, right? That like I've got so much to do, and I get so overwhelmed, and I can't decide. I can't decide what to do, you know? And so I do nothing. And when that happens, when you do that, you are basically like removing yourself from the from participation in the universe. And when you do that, reality in a certain way kind of stops functioning. And then if you're me, you get very depressed about that. You don't know what to do. And really the only, you know, Shakespeare wrote a fucking play about it, you know? That's what Hamlet is. Like, any decision is better than no decision, because any decision is propelling reality forward and forcing you to live within it in a way that is immanent and generative and participatory in the things that are around you. So, what if all these things just work because a group of people are putting some kind of faith or intention to make it work? Well, you know, fascists, you know, if nothing else, fascists sure do have a lot of faith, don't they? They sure do know how to make things work. They're making their shit work. You know, it'll fail eventually, but it'll only fail if the rest of us like have some kind of oppositional idealism, you know? This is not something that we can engineer our way out of. We have to actually engage with what we want to see in the world. And it can't be what worked before, because we live in a fundamentally different world than we did at the end of World War II. You know? Just like Orcs and Warhammer, exactly. Carl Sagan, Demon Haunted World, touched on how the average person will have no idea how to work the basic technology that runs their daily life, turning scientists into a priest class. Yeah, kind of. And that's sort of like that's what MAGA is kind of, you know, just sort of like, you know, in a sort of like reactive way, rejecting, you know, is this idea, which is not wholly inaccurate. Like you kind of get where they're coming from. It's just like, this is what happens when you construct a society based around the idea that there ought to be technocrats of some kind, that there ought to be some kind of hierarchy, and that some people are just naturally predisposed toward ruling and running things properly, and everybody else just needs to kind of accept that. I mean, I think that, like, if nothing else, the current moment is showing that no matter how good your intentions are, when you're building a hierarchy, it's not gonna fucking work, you know? Everybody has to be a part of it, otherwise people will start to feel alienated. Big surprise. Oh shit. Hey, breaking news. Chris Van Holland of Holland, met in El Salvador with Kilmar Abrego Garcia. So he's alive. That's good. I've seen some speculation that they fucking killed him, you know? And yeah, it's super disturbing just to think about. You know, makes me yeah, it's a fucked up time. Jesus fucking Christ. Why are we too desensitized to violence and gore? Are we too desensitized? I think we're certain sectors are maybe somewhat desensitized to it, but I don't think that we're exposed to enough real life violence to accurately assess how desensitized we are to it. You know what I mean? I think that encountering violence in, like, video games and movies is quite different from encountering violence in real life, which most of us are, you know, fortuitously in a position to not have to do on a day-to-day basis. So I don't know. What's your overall opinion on Spielberg as an artist and director? I mean, he's I appreciate Spielberg as a defining member of the community of artists that sort of developed the sort of American Hollywood blockbuster style, you know. He's really, really good at making a crowd pleaser. And there's definitely, you know, talent and skill in that. I find him very sincere, which is more than I can say for a lot of other directors, especially now. I think somewhat, yes, but it's interesting to see traditionally horror film techniques bleed into other genres and get a big reaction. I no longer remember what that was in response to. I'm so sorry, but I probably agree. Stories are manipulation. The author tailors the story to provoke the intended reaction. But is that a manipulation, or is that just communicating? You know, anytime I say anything to anybody, really, anytime anybody says anything to anybody, they're trying to provoke a reaction. You know, that's the point of communication, is to make yourself heard and understood. So, I don't find that manipulative. If you're being cagey about your intentions and you're telling somebody something in order to get a reaction that, you know, that matches what you're telling them but doesn't match what you actually intend, or, you know, what you I don't know, if there's like a mismatch in your actual intentions and the thing that you're saying, yeah, of course that's manipulation. But Oh, Real New Deal. Did you see Warfare? I see you describing it. If so, tell me how it was. What was the book again? Oh, the book that I don't know if you're talking to me, but the book that I was talking about was called Cyber Libertarianism. Yeah, see, there you go. As a crime-ridden third world nation and city, the way we react to gore might be very different to first world countries. Yeah, I mean, how much I've I've not spent, nearly as much time in Mexico as I have in the United States, obviously. But, especially when I was a kid. And like Mexico City's sort of cleaned itself up since then, but especially when I was a kid, it was much more violent place. I saw you get hit by a car, Holy shit. I think my dad supported Trump because he's a force that does something and makes decisions instead of nothing. I think in a couple generations, a lot of things that we're doing right now are going to seem cringe and backward and antiquated. And I think that one of the bafflements of the future, not even bafflement, one of the remarkable, one of the things that people will find remarkable about the current era and the future is the fact that we were so blind to how bad our system was, and the fact that establishment Democrats were so baffled by Trump winning will be of note. I don't think that people weren't voting for Trump. People were voting against the system, the status quo. Bukele is a real douchebag. Yes, he is. Yeah, fuck that. Crypto bro motherfucker. Oh my god. Fablemans was so damn good. Yeah, I liked it. It was nice. Good movie. Spielberg is a king of blocking, which is lacking in modern cinema. Hard agree. Hard agree. Manipulation is purposefully drive the situation to a specific place. Communication is expression of internal experiences to others. Yes, absolutely. I would say that, and I would say that stories are a perfect example of communication instead of manipulation, because that like everybody knows that when they're being told a story that it isn't real life. Well, you know what I mean. If you're hearing a story, watching a story, reading a story, there's no confusion in your head about whether you're, about what's real and what isn't. And you are consenting to be led to a specific place. So. Just get peeved by the war and gun realism wink these days to where I probably won't see it. It's a little too closely right-wing associated. Yeah, man, fuck Alex Garland for real. People thought Tar was a biopic, yeah. The vote against the system was how many people still didn't vote. People really don't have any faith that political action can positively affect their lives. Yeah. It's amazing to think about how many of our problems could be solved if we simply got rid of the Electoral College. That like there's a inherent chilling effect on voting with the Electoral College alone, where it's like, why the fuck would I vote? My vote doesn't matter. If you live in a blue state, then your vote doesn't matter, So why are you going to vote? And especially since we live in a country where we act as though the presidential race is the only one that matters. So if the presidential race is the only one that matters, and your vote doesn't matter, then who gives a fuck? Like, why? What possible reason could you have to care if you're just like a sort of like, normie off the street, So. Okay.
See, forging that signature really paid off. Well done, sire. By guile and deceit, you're in.
The signatures I got. I know you plan to force them out with the construction noise.
Harry, by now you should know I would never do anything tricky like that. However, if the construction noise and limited street access makes some people consider moving, well, let's just say there'll be freshly renovated buildings near the roundabout where those poor people can finally enjoy a significant uptick in quality of life. I'm talking real affordable workers' palaces.
He proudly spreads his hands to demonstrate the size of the palaces. They're very large.
So the village is doomed.
You were there, you saw the place. A wasteland. There's nothing left. But mark my words, officers. We are going to reset it. Reset. I have big plans for Martinez. And they do not include humans living in those pig sheds on the coast. That land will be used for municipal buildings and commerce.
What do you mean?
Harry, imagine a youth centre supermarket church complex. Employing hundreds, no, thousands of people. The coast will be lit up with enterprise and life. All those ruins out there turned into low-income housing. Harry, enough is enough. We're taking this district back. The war was 50 years ago, for God's sake. It's time to move on.
Youth supermarket church complex? Do you really expect me to believe that?
Yes, I do. I got the centre, I got room for a retail complex, and in 4 years, I'll get the church too. The wheels are already turning, Harry. The wheels of progress. This post-war limbo, I won't stand for it. There are kids practically playing with their own feces out there. It cannot go on.
There is true indignation in his voice when he speaks about the state of things, and even a touch of pain. And then there will be a giant statue of him towering above it all.
Wait, but will you erect a statue to yourself?
I'm not a symbolist, Harry. I'm a realist. My statue will be Martinez rebuilt. 5-story building complexes, kids off speed, and landowners in a zone hating me. That will be my statue. And yours. We're doing this together.
I knew you were up to something.
Damn right I'm up to something, Harry. I'm gonna make the working man as rich as Joyce Messier. That's my job. Just like yours is to keep the peace.
I've been watching The White Lotus. I caught up on season 2 and I'm almost done with season 3. Good shit. Good shit. What does it say about America that the only good things we can make are about how horrible rich people are? You order the hanged man killed?
Order it? You know my men didn't kill him. They told you. It was a happy accident. You know how it is. No one takes the initiative. If I wanted him dead, I would have had to do it myself. And I'm too fat for that.
I think he's telling the truth. Why are you so fat?
Glad you asked. I've got type 2 diabetes because sugar and fat was all my mother had to give me and my brother Edgar when we were kids. Good job too, as it made me ugly. And ugly people, Harry, are much better at politics.
That is true. People don't trust pretty people.
Finished 3rd season of Daredevil today. Very good, very good. Are they still trying to... Is Marvel still limping along, or are they still pretending that that show is part of the MCU? What do you gain from him being dead?
Why, a war, of course.
And what do you have to gain from a war?
Victory, Mr. Kitsuragi. I have victory to gain. We are going to start a war with the Wild Pines group and win before they even realize there is a war.
They're trained military people. Aren't you afraid for your men?
Harry, we outnumber them 1,500 to 1. And that's just Martinez. With all the unions in Revachol, and with public opinion on our side, we can hold off 2 men, or 15 men, or even 50 men.
Okay.
The more they send, the worse it's going to look for them. They made a huge mistake hiring those guys. No one likes foreign mercenaries. The leftists hate them, the fascists hate them, even the moralists think they're in bad taste.
How is this connected to the strike?
Harry, there is no strike, only war. Class war. Or, in business terms, a dawn raid. Or wait. Is that when you still pay them something? Because we won't do that.
I'm part of a marginalized class, though not a minority. My life has been pretty bad, all things considered, for most of my life, regardless of who owns Congress, who the president is, and who the governor is. Well, buckle up, because it's about to get a lot worse. Now that we don't have, vaccine PSAs or FDA checking our food, or the USDA, you know, making sure that like pesticides are created without carcinogens. I mean, not that they're that great at that anyway, but there was at least there were at least functional people within our government, you know, trying to do their job. And it seems like the purpose of this government has been to go in and just, you know, get rid of every single person who is actually doing their job. So, hi Wally. Should you watch these streams on catch up watching live as I'm off work now for Easter? Oh, lovely. I'm so glad you're here. I'm glad you watched the VODs either way. Like how everything about Everett makes you not want to trust him, but when you pry him a little, you see that he does genuinely care about the well-being of Martinez. Yeah, everybody in this game is like fairly complicated, which I appreciate. They're like fucking Studio Ghibli characters, you know.
We're not gonna give nothing. We're gonna take Terminal B away from them. The roads, the gates, the containers, that big crane, even the damn coffee maker. We're gonna take all of it for the people, and fuck Wild Pines.
The word fuck rings like a gunshot from his mouth. He doesn't swear often.
Most government officials have no interest in categorically improving lowest classes. I do not abstain from voting, but I've never voted in my own interest. It's an interesting thing to say. What do you mean by you've never voted in your own interest? Just that there haven't been candidates that are available. That there's nothing to vote for in your own interest. Is that what you mean? Can sympathize with people with someone who does not vote because they do not think it will change anything. Most government officials have no interest in categorically improving lowest classes. I do not think that's true. I think it's more accurate to say that most government officials are from a class that precludes their awareness of the lowest classes. You know what I mean? And even within that, like, people who run food banks are quite aware of the lowest classes and quite invested in making their lives better. It's just that those programs have been systematically defunded and dismantled piece by piece over the past 2 or 3 generations. You know, it's like every time any kind of labor movement or any type of welfare gets a leg up for about 10 years, it's like all the rich people in this country have to come in and declare that it's that this experiment in actually taking care of people has actually been a huge failure. And look, there's still crime. Like, yes, there's always gonna be crime, you know. Anyway. Trump is doing the same thing Malay did here. Yes, he is, but it's gonna have more far-reaching consequences, I think. I mean, I don't even think that's a matter of opinion. It just is, because the United States has been such an important country, you know, for the past 80 years. So this is gonna have like really big implications for the global economy. In fact, I hope it does. I hope that it does cause everything to collapse so that we can finally stop fucking doing this. You know, we've run this simulation 5 times over, at least. You know, we did it with the Civil War. We did it with the Gilded Age. We did it several hundred years ago with the East India Trading Company. We did it with the Great Depression. Like, enough. You know, we did it in 2008 with the stock market crash. Like, we don't have to do this anymore. It's the same thing over and over again. Yeah. I guess my interest being, I think I have friends that will be worse off with one guy, but I've never voted thinking, oh, Obama, Biden, Clinton, Harris are going to be great for me. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's very fair. I want to make really, really sure with a 6th attempt.
So that's why you haven't let Joyce in?
Yes. It's also why I let that midget Gaumont go. He's too nice. I can't put him through this. Plus, he knows how to get in here. That woman can't tell her tits from her asshole. She has no chance.
Yep. There goes my mouse. Come on. Come on, buddy. There we go. So you have to just be nice to it. Aw. It's a lesson we can all learn. What?
Tits from her arsehole. It's a local saying.
Actually, no, it's not.
Why are you telling me your plans?
Because we're friends, Harry. Besides, it doesn't matter now. You can go tell her if you want. It won't change the course of events. We have a significant head start.
Honestly, he's doing stuff even dumber than Malay, but I honestly think we need to feel this pain. I agree. It's the only way to get a social contract. I just hope I'm wrong that MAGA is a death cult. I am, like, I think he may actually be insane. You know, I don't know exactly what kind of insane. I don't know exactly what sort of, like, you know, pathologies he's expressing or what sort of comorbidities are amplifying them. But I don't think he's all there. You know, like, I wouldn't be like, if Trump died tomorrow and they, like, and in the autopsy it was revealed that he had a large brain tumor pressing against his spinal column, who would be surprised? You know what I mean? In terms of MAGA being a death cult, I don't think that MAGA is a death cult. I think that MAGA is a rape cult. I think that that's what it is, which is not, you know, that's not dissimilar to most fascist movements, but it seems like MAGA is really, really intently expressing a desire to violate specifically, you know, that its entire point, its entire drive to action is to determine what people do not want to happen to them and do that thing. You know, it's evil. Legitimately, it's evil. So, don't get deported. You know, it's Mexico is doing better than it has in a long time. I wouldn't be, you know, if things really went to shit and I got deported or, you know, whatever, since I'm a dual citizen. You know what, if the United States government, I probably shouldn't say this because I may actually have to follow through. If the United States government told everybody with dual citizenship that they have to abandon their, you know, whatever other country they're a citizen of, or be deported, I think I might just risk being deported. I think I might just, like, you know, risk being here legally, you know. But you know, like, I'm scared for my family. I like, whatever, the government doesn't fucking like knows everything about fucking everybody. That's what systems like Palantir are for. So I don't think that I'm putting anybody in danger by saying that I'm worried for my family, because I have a lot of people in my family who don't have papers, you know, don't have citizenship. I have a lot of dreamers in my family. You know, a lot of cousins who were brought here when they were like 3 or 4 years old, have lived in America their whole lives, essentially, are like Americans in every way except that one, and who have legal work visas. And there's a very, very real possibility that they may not just get deported. Like, it's one thing to get deported, but deportation is not all that we're talking about here. Like the guys sent to El Salvador were not deported, they were disappeared, you know? They were sent to a foreign prison labor camp. That's not the same as being deported, you know? Like, we're like, the stakes here are so completely different than a lot of people, you know, MAGA. It seems like, you know, everybody on the left, maybe a few in the center are still clueless about this, probably because cluelessness, you know, sort of, you know, ignorance is sort of a prerequisite for cluelessness. But, like, we're not talking about deportation anymore, you know? We're talking about the government being able to end your life. I can't dox myself, but parts of Mexico are terrible right now. I don't disbelieve you. I don't think it's a great place. I think a lot of areas in Mexico are still suck, and you know the cartels still run rampant there, absolutely. But it is improving markedly in measurable ways. You know, when I would go to Mexico as a kid, I hated it. I thought it was like dirty and gross, and it smelled bad, and pollution was horrible, and there were stray dogs everywhere. You know, and like the last time I went, I loved it. I thought it was great. You know, and like things are changing there. It's slow, and there's a lot of room for improvement, but things are changing, and so that like it's part of why this whole trade situation is so fucked, you know, because it's like the United States has based its own existence and its own superiority partially off basically sabotaging other countries, you know, and it feels very much as if countries like Mexico that have an opportunity to improve and an opportunity to be sort of self-sufficient and grow their economy and participate with other countries to mutual benefit it's just like we're being completely masked off about how like no, that can't happen, because then if that happens, then the United States will be at a disadvantage, you know. You get it. It used to be bad. Hey, you were the one who said that that it's not a good place to be. In other words, they're bypassing the system in charge of protecting your rights. Yes, correct. And some parts of the USA are terrible. Honestly, I'm going to advise my talented artist friend who speaks Spanish to move to Mexico or Brazil. Yeah, I mean that's true. Parts of the USA are terrible. You know, Hampton, go to Skid Row and let me know if you think that you know that Mexico is markedly worse than the United States. Go to the like south side of Chicago, you know, like it's bad. It's bad here. It's bad. There's you know, there's I still there's a lot I still love about this country. It's my home, you know, but it's not good. It's not a good place to be. Anytime anybody visits me from Europe, like the attitude I think from a lot of Europeans is that the US is kind of like a third world country, which is pathetic because we have no excuse to be, you know. I wonder if there will be a similar thing as a gringo great migration to Mexico for opportunities. My guy, it's already happening. Like Mexico City has a huge gentrification problem from all the American expats like moving there. What do you think about Scheinbaum approval ratings? Is it real and good? Is she actually gas, or is it just RN hype moments? No, I think she actually is pretty good. I don't know if I mean like I've seen approval ratings as high as like 82%. But like I don't know. I watch a fair amount of Mexican news, and I don't see them like, you know, reporting that with the same kind of anywhere near the same kind of like North Korean great leader adulation as Fox News. I don't think that like, you know, she has the kind of cult of personality that that people sort of expect from, you know, popular Latin American leaders. I think she is genuinely popular. I doubt that approval rating is as high as 82% in actuality, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was in the 60s. Her policies are good. You know, she's a smart person. She's like continuing that daily press conference thing. Stroke of genius. I don't know why we don't do that. You know, we should. It seems like she and new Mexican politicians in general have a lot more interest in public outreach and letting the citizens know what their plans are, what they're doing, and how the government is trying to work for them, even if they don't succeed every single time. I like Scheinbaum. You know, it's like, how come we can't have a president who's a PhD in environmental science? You know. Yeah, I live in a bad part of the U.S. There have been multiple kidnappings from the apartment complex I live in. There you go. You know? I don't know if you've heard, Hampton, of the levels of gun violence that exist in this country. You know? Yeah, the cartels are horrific. Yes. 1000%. Awful. Awful. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of, you know, our different national pathologies and the way that they express themselves. You know, like I said, it's like, it's not just that things are bad in many sectors of the United States. It's that things are bad in the United States and we're the richest country in the world. That's the fucking problem, you know? Like, the cartels exist because there's a market for cartels in Mexico, you know? And part of that market is driven by demand coming from the United States. But like the institutional failures of Latin American countries are, designed in no small part by United States policy. And it's, oh God, I hate how this administration is like constantly putting me in a position to not defend the status quo, but like describe the logic of the status quo, you know, because it seems like MAGA as a whole and Trump in particular are just so detached from reality that they're not like, it's like there's a plan here, you know, like the United States functioned under a very clear system that they're just dismantling for no reason, you know, that like they're like tearing all this shit apart and getting nothing out of it, you know? So it's like, the thing that's fucked up about the United States that is not fucked up about Mexico is that things are fucked up here and we're the richest country in the world, that we we get all this shit, and we've, you know, through methods both honest and deceitful, we've gotten all these resources and all this power and all this money, and we still can't provide healthcare for our citizens, you know? We still can't do free education. Like, we can't make anybody's lives easy. That's disgusting in a way that a country like Mexico isn't, even if, you know, the situation in countries like Mexico are disgusting in other ways. That's a level of like sort of depravity and grotesquerie that's very specific to this country, you know. Trump is touched from Red Dead Redemption. No. Also an important variable present in the US and not as present in Mexico is race. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Cartels exist, in my opinion, because the USA won't use its vast wealth to solve our drug problem. Yeah. You know? True patriot Mariana. Yeah, I know. Ugh. Okay. Let's finish this conversation, maybe.
It's already happening.
Who killed the hanged man?
No idea. Could have been his own mother for all I know. If you ever find the guy, give him a big fat kiss from Everard Clare. Couldn't have done it without him.
When Trump said the Supreme Court ruled in his favor, my jaw dropped. I didn't think his administration was that divorced from reality. Oh, that was all Stephen Miller. Fucking evil Grand Vizier Stephen Miller is just like, you know, whispering in Trump's ear all the fucking time, and that's why every time Trump tries to describe something, like today he was talking about how birthright citizenship is about slavery, and it's really about, you know, let me just pull up the thing. Can I do that? I can find a transcript of what he said. Beep, 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 boop. Oh man, I hate how every single news outlet has to sane wash everything he says. It's like they're just publish the entire transcript of what he said, because it's insane. It is insane. I know Aaron Rupar posted it. Let's see. It's gonna be a very fun couple of minutes watching me scroll through my phone. Oh yeah, here we go.
The Supreme Court agreed to hear oral arguments in the case about ending birthright citizenship. How confident are you that the court will rule in your favor and allow that order to end birthright citizenship to go forward?
Well, you just telling me that for the first time. I am so happy. I think the case has been so misunderstood. That case, birthright citizenship, is about slavery. If you look at the details of it, the signings of it, everything else, that case is all about slavery. And if you view it from that standpoint, people understand it. But for some reason, lawyers don't talk about it, the news doesn't talk about it. That's not about tourists coming in and touching a piece of sand and all of a sudden they're a citizenship. They're a citizen. That is all about slavery. And even look at the dates on which it was signed. It was right at that era, right after the Civil War. And if you look at it that way, the case is an easy case to win. And I hope the lawyers talk about birthright, citizenship, and slavery, because that's what it was all about. And it was a very positive, it was meant to be positive. And they use it now instead, not for slavery, they use it for people that come into our country and they walk in and all of a sudden they become citizens and they pay a lot of money to different cartels and others. It's all about slavery, and if you look at it that way, we should win that case. Okay.
Dog. What the fuck are you talking about? What? Can anybody find any meaning in that? What the fuck? What? What is he talking about? Like, it's like, it's just gibberish, and like that's straight from Stephen Miller. I guarantee it. Stephen Miller sat him down and came up with this, like, this slimy excuse for why birthright citizenship shouldn't be a thing, and said it had to do with the Civil War and making sure that slaves could be citizens, and Trump like took that and processed about 20% of it, and every other frame was just dropped. Now it's just like unintelligible fucking nonsense. It's what the fuck? Steve Miller is definitely a first ballot USA Villain Hall of Famer. Absolutely. Sorry for being too Gen Z. I see that describing Shine Bomb as gas and having Ara took you a second to parse it. Did. Thank you. I'm not up to what the kids say these days. What the fuck is he talking about? God. Sorry, we really do have to get through this conversation.
He really doesn't know. The guy, huh?
How do you know it's a guy?
I don't. I told you it could have been his own mother. I'm pretty sure it wasn't anyone from the Union. Maybe it was the mob. Or maybe he killed himself because he was a closet socialist. Truth is, I simply don't know.
He really doesn't.
How many of you guys are there in the Union?
2,372. Plus yours truly, of course.
2,373 is a sizable contingent for a labor organization in Revachol.
How are you going to fund your new independent harbor?
Oh, you mean what sort of goods are going to be flowing through? How am I going to replace all the contacts we'll lose once the poo-poo hits the fan? The clients will ditch us. Harry, we've thought of everything.
We need just chatting stream. Yeah, maybe we do. Maybe I'll add another day to the A weekly schedule.
Clients would take a well-known multinational conglomerate
really
over a
gotta get my shit
local
together and make a
mobster
video.
any day.
Before I make any more logistical decisions. Everything?
We've been running back channel negotiations with all the major clients. I think the company will be unpleasantly surprised to see how many of them stay loyal to Martinez and to the new competitive contracts we can offer. With renewed zeal sparked by communal ownership, the men will be shipping those containers double time. You'll be surprised to see how fast things go without parasites latching on. We'll have our hands free to pursue bold, exotic new revenue streams.
That's drugs.
Drug trafficking.
Drug trafficking? Don't be stupid, Mr. Kitsuragi. There are perfectly legal, 100% ethical chemical factories on the Samaran Isola. You don't need to be colonialist about it.
I think she would explode if we made her do a talk about the news for 3 hours show. Well, I hear that that's good content. Watching people explode about politics is a great source of viewership for some people. So.
All they do is produce components to keep the pharmaceutical industry running. That's people's health we're talking about. Old grannies, little babes, people with disabilities.
Is it possible he's talking about how the children of escaped slaves could have their rights protected? But the amount of times I have to hear him say or imply foreign companies will pay tariffs, I'll explode. No, yeah, that's almost certainly what he's referring to, but he doesn't know what he's talking about, you know? Like, he just doesn't understand any of it. He doesn't understand anything about the way that the American government is supposed to function and has no interest at all in learning. So, you know, people talk at him about what kind of what kind of justification he has for for like being a fucking snake around about getting around all these laws and all this lawfare that they can pull to make this shit happen, and they tell him how, and he just doesn't pay attention. That's it. You know, either he doesn't pay attention or he is just like literally brain damaged. He's got something wrong with the inside of his head. Jesus Christ. It's like, oh my God, it's so embarrassing. It's the most embarrassing way for an empire to fall. Oh my God. Okay. That's just the tip of the iceberg though, isn't it?
The company thinks transporting these chemicals in bulk looks bad, has bad optics, may be illegal in some countries. The Debarders Union, however, we're all about the large volume column.
I love conjugating random concepts and weaving them together to do a point of nonsense drool, very much like what Orange Man just said. Well, you said it. He's doing the weave.
We're gonna transport the living daylights out of those materials, Harry. So your sick kid can get his Benefed, and your wacky uncle doesn't have to come off risperidone.
Benefed is a children's cold medicine, usually apricot flavored, and risperidone is used to treat severe psychosis.
Tracks with the way he talked about third term. Many people want me to, and there are ways to go around it. Makes sense as information other people feed him, and he doesn't have the capacity to relay. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's the same reason it's the same reason he can, for some reason, it'd be a scandal for any other sitting U.S. president, but he, for some reason, can get away with being informed of things, like, in the moment by reporters in the Oval Office. You know? That's fucking bonkers. Like... like, I mean, so today he was talking about Abrego Garcia, and somebody asked him about it. Some reporter asked him about whether he was gonna bring him back, and he said, "Well, I'm not involved with that." You know, it's like, what are you involved with then? You know, somebody with the whole signal thing. He learned about that from a reporter on camera. Why is this acceptable? In any way, why is this acceptable? What the fuck is he spending his time doing? Just golfing, I guess.
And the kids on the street can get speed and pyrrolidone.
I'm an old-fashioned guy, Mr. Kitsuragi. I sometimes grab a beer with the boys, but I have no idea about the things you just mentioned. But if I were to supply ingredients for some sort of rainbow party, I would make sure the Union took a fantastic share, and I'd keep that stuff far away from Martinez.
He's basically admitting to it.
Interesting stuff. I just want to solve this murder.
You know why you're such a good detective, Harry? You don't get sidetracked. You care about the people you're supposed to protect, not some systems that may or may not be unethical. Anyway, let's not focus on the sensationalism of the drug trade. This hypothetical drug trade is all anyone ever seems to be interested in. It would only be a small part of the harbour's turnover, just like the harbour is, but a small part of Martinez.
Go on.
Let's look at the big picture. Martinez as a whole. There are little girls out there with dreams of making music. Young mothers who want to start businesses. Models who want to walk catwalks, and steel welders who want to weld steel. I'm gonna unite them all into one economic body. We're gonna incorporate this place to Kingdom Come. Everyone's gonna be in on the wealth, and everyone's gonna pull their weight.
I'm assuming the derangement we were faced with was lizard people and adrenochrome. Now we just have straight up dictatorship and Nazis. Yeah, it sucks. I'm so over it. You know, it's not cute. It's not funny. I'm not triggered. This just sucks.
Let's keep focusing on the drug trade. He was almost admitting to it.
Hold on. I don't want to look at the big picture. I want to look at the drug trade you'd almost admitted to.
No, Harry. That's boring. All right, it's gone. The hypothetical raw materials trade is off the table. It's such a small and insignificant slice of revenue, I'm cutting it.
I've never tasted Hennessy. You're not missing much, don't worry.
Boys, Harry felt queasy about it. We're not doing it. Can we talk about my beautiful incorporated Martinez and its many-sided business ventures now? This bold new vision of incorporated socialism I'm offering?
I'm not feeling a whole lot of Revachol here. Not enough flags or kings.
Harry, the future I have in store for Martinez will have all the macho aesthetics you love so much. The crowns, the guns. I will even slip in a skull and bones for you, my friend.
Is it really that mid? In my opinion, yes, but I'm not a big alcohol consumer, so maybe my opinion isn't to be trusted.
Oh yeah, skull and bones. Skull and bones on the Revacholian flag. The Revacholian Death Squad. Oh yeah.
Crazy
the
how-
visual image has completely bedazzled you. You're 100% with Everard now.
Crazy how people clowned Gary Johnson for forgetting the name Aleppo, but like half the country is fine with Trump lied about COVID being gone by April, but who cares? It's... We're not existing in the same reality. This is not the same country at all. Fucking traitors. Every single one. Like, I have, you know, the crazier things get, the less sympathy I have even for, you know, undereducated fucking dumbasses, who, you know, still fly the Trump flag. They can go fuck themselves at this point. You know, I'm at the point where I really don't care what kind of propaganda you've been exposed to. It's enough has happened by now that you should know better, and if you don't, then you know you're a shell of a person. It's like difficult to know exactly who you're talking to. But, I mean, on the other hand, the only real MAGA people that I encounter are on Twitter and online in general, and so it's like, it's really kind of difficult to tell, first of all, how many of those people actually exist, you know, how many of those people are real, and I mean, almost impossible to actually tell what kind of people those are or how they behave in their daily lives, and I think that wouldn't change my opinion, but I should talk to some MAGA people in person and not for content. because I'm at an impasse. I don't know what to think about them, other than it's just a cult. But it's like a really horrible cult. It's a really ugly, disgusting cult. Yeah, they're fucking Nazis, legitimately. Yeah, I mean, can you imagine if Biden said half the shit that Trump is saying every day now? You know, it's crazy. Do MAGA ethnography? I'd love to. That'd be a great project. I'm sure a lot of people are already tackling it, and I look forward to reading them. Can I ask you about specific union members?
We're way past specific union members now. This is the big time. We're talking about the future of Revachol here, Harry. You can bother Leonard with that. He loves to run his mouth on such matters. But I'm in big time mode, Harry.
There's something different about him now. He's more vibrant, more alive in his big time mode.
Can I get my gun now?
Harry, I've got to be honest with you. Your gun was found 2 days ago. Withholding this information weighed heavily on me. But it had to be done.
You bastard.
Your gun is with an old woman. I hear she's a character, so watch out.
This must be the woman who bought the gun from Roy. The one he described as terrifying.
Is the gun still with the woman who bought it from Roy?
Yes, the same one. I see you've done your research. The pawn shop made the gun easy to track. Crazy stuff, Harry. Selling your gun like that? Wild. Anyway...
Union Boy's gonna help you fix it. He winks at you. Don't worry, Harry.
The neighbors of this old woman contacted my men because they trust me and the Debarders Union. Apparently, she was waving it around at the entrance to her building.
Waving the gun around doesn't sound good. None of this does.
She was waving it around at people?
As I said, she's a character. I didn't have time for details. It sounds like she's unstable, but don't worry. No one got hurt.
I work with an Elon fanboy and it is nauseating. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I every now and then I'll encounter somebody who's who like says, "Oh, he's a genius," but and kind of seems to equivocate about it. But like I mean, it's part of the thing about like, you know, working from home and not really encountering many people that you don't actively choose to hang out with. Yeah, I don't really I don't know any legit MAGA folks or legit Elon fanboys. I feel like I'm missing out. Who is this old woman?
Unfortunately, I don't know anymore. You're gonna have to go in blind, Harry. But she's an old lady. How dangerous can she possibly be? Oh, and she calls herself the Pigs.
So interesting looking back because the kid spent more time defending Elon from haters than actually describing what he did that was so cool. Yeah, I mean, this really is a movement that just thrives off conflict, you know, which is like sort of explicitly partly what the movement's about. No, like that's at the very least what Elon, you know, everything that seems to drive Elon's being is just sort of like it's part of his whole, you know, sort of pseudo Roman fascist, you know, Western fetishism type of ideology, right? The like, you know, men are forged in war type bullshit, you know, that like you only ever find your meaning or your personality through conflict, and specifically like conflict of domination, that like you must, that like everything is a zero-sum game, and if you're not winning an interaction, you're losing it. Where's St. Mark? He was in the first day of the stream. I didn't see him anymore. I don't know. Mark is a real life friend of mine, so that's a good question. I should text him and ask. Give him a hard time for not being in the stream. my coworker is under the legitimate opinion that Elon Musk is going to eliminate income tax any day now. Big fat yikes. Big fat yikes. I wouldn't be super surprised if they tried to eliminate income tax. It'd be an absolute disaster, but it'd play well to the base, you know. Watching Elon get bullied on stream is so fucking, oh my god, I know. Oh, it was so satisfying. I'm surprised. Well, I mean, no, I'm not surprised. He's absolutely delusional. I was about to say I'm surprised he did that, like went on stream and tried to be a gamer again. But I mean, I have heard, you know, and this is like sixth hand, right? But like, I have heard that he believes wholeheartedly that the universe is a simulation, and so nothing matters, you know, and that's why he like goes to the inauguration fucking stoned and shit, you know, and doesn't take anything seriously at all because he thinks that none of it matters, and he legitimately thinks that he's the main character of reality. So I guess if you're that delusional, then that doesn't seem like that outrageous a thing to do.
There it is again. The pigs. Like Roy said, not good at all.
I, for one, find it refreshing. Finally, someone calls themselves a pig.
It actually sounds extremely bad, but let's not give him the satisfaction.
It's actually very hard to look straight at how unmeritocratic the world is for people. It's DEI for white guys. That's all that's happening. Can you set up a meeting?
I already have. Tonight, starting 10 o'clock, near the old fish market on the coast. The one on the boardwalk, a little past the fishing village. Be careful, Harry. I would never set you up for anything dangerous, but you did ask for this. Now, back to the fun stuff.
She will be there from 2200 hours till 0200 hours.
Okay. Okay, near the old fish market. Alright.
More fun stuff. Seems like we already have fun stuff to do.
Great, Harry, great. I think we've truly built a bridge between Martinez and Jamrock today. We have united the RCM and the Debarders Union.
It's even funnier as he went on to prove how good Starlink was and then blames Starlink for not working. Can't accept that in the simulation he sucks hard at games. Yeah, I mean, it's got to be rough on somebody like that who thinks that they legitimately are the main character of the universe. But then, if you're the main character of the universe and you're the protagonist and everything's supposed to go your way, what does it mean when things don't go your way? Oh God, it must be like absolutely soul crushing. I have heard that he's been, you know, at like, especially after he got booed at Dave Chappelle's show, that he like locked himself in his office and there was some real concern that he was going to harm himself, you know. Excuse me. But like, yeah, I mean, that's the kind of insecurity that can only be mollified by delusion, and that is just absolutely shatters when anytime the delusion does, you know.
This has been so great. I'm sorry we don't have more fun things to do together, but if you ever feel like bouncing something off me, my door is always open.
Met a girl named Estelle who says she's working.
Funny. That doesn't ring any bells, Harry.
Funny. She was trying to set up a narcotics operation in the old church on the coast.
Oh, that Estelle. Yes, I do seem to remember sending a pretty young thing down there to liven up the place. Get some anodic music in there.
Anodic music, liven up the place. Yes, that checks out. Let's change the subject.
Yes, Harry. Let's talk about what's really important to you.
A few more questions about the harbor.
I'm always happy to educate and entertain you, my friend.
I guess not.
So, what's on your mind?
Never mind, that's it.
Very nice, Harry. Is there anything else?
What's in the container outside your office?
My dear Harry, there are literally millions of containers in this harbor. I couldn't possibly remember what's in all of them.
There's something special about it. It was attached to the Kvalsund crane.
Harry, you smooth-talking son of a bitch. Time is a precious resource, and I don't have enough of it to count containers with you.
Smooth talking. Maybe that's the way to go about opening the container. You should at least try convincing it.
Okay. I'm going to leave now. Let's talk again later. I'm gonna I'm gonna put a point in rhetoric, and then we're gonna convince that container to open. If my mouse will work. Convince that container to open, and then I'm gonna hop off here and go eat some food. And we go from IRL Tony Stark to fake faker. Because he never was Tony Stark. He just had a really effective PR team. I've seen one of his biographers said the other day that, like, he's been studying Elon Musk for a long time and has encountered absolutely no evidence to suggest that man is a genius of any kind. That, like, he's got a 110 IQ, you know? He's a reasonably intelligent person, but he's not a fucking genius. And like it's insane that we ever. I mean, I'm a pretty OG Elon hater. I was always suspicious, but I mean, what has he made exactly? You know, what is his E equals MC squared? It's always the question that I come to. He didn't make. He doesn't make rockets. He didn't make Tesla. He didn't make any of that technology. He didn't make Twitter. He bought them. He bought them. And I think I've said this before also. But like, I feel the same way about describing somebody being good at making money and good at investing as genius as I do. It's kind of the same thing to me as being good at video games. You know, being a genius video game player. What the fuck does that mean? Who cares? That's not impressive. It's not impressive to be extraordinarily good at a video game. Like, it's an interesting party trick at best. Do you think he has a good eye for talent? Maybe, yeah. But, you know, having a good eye for talent doesn't make you a fucking genius. It means you have a good eye for talent. Anything that increases rhetoric. Electrochemistry, some affair, substitute suggestion. Yeah, nothing with rhetoric. Really is all just from the heart, huh? Just your words, just you and your words. Hi. Okay. I'm about to hop off here. Nope. Nothing for rhetoric. It's okay. Oh, come on. Ugh. Shit really pisses me off. Sorry. It's super cringe to be beating the shit out of my mouse on stream. But that's the only thing that I've been able to do that even makes it sort of work. Or at least has some kind of correlation with it working. What the fuck is happening? The polo shirt adds rhetoric. Well, if I can ever get my mouse to work, we'll go and check. We'll see. Oh yeah, how about that? Okay. Come on.
You're back before the cargo container. Its draw has not lessened since you were last here. If anything, it seems to have grown slightly.
Just because some of us know how to read and write and a little math doesn't mean we have to conquer the universe. Yep. Ask Elon to fix your mouse. Okay. Here's our safe gun for the day. Let's go.
And as it's always been, it's impossible to open a container.
Okay. Again. I'm already talking shit. It's just, oh god, it's so unbelievably frustrating for the mouse to work a little bit, you know? Like, I'd almost rather it didn't work at all. Come on, just let me press confirm. Oh my god. Okay. Edged, my mouse is edging me.
You're back before the cargo container. Its drawer has
Not
not
fair.
lessened since you were last here. If anything, and as it's always been, it.
So excited your save's coming with shipping container. Good.
You're back before the cargo container.
I think when I play
Its
Fallout,
drawer
I
has
won't
not
save
lessened
stuff.
since you were last here.
Find a
If
new
anything,
custom
it seems to have
enemies
grown
with.
slightly. And as it's always been, it's impossible to open a container with rhetoric. Maybe
Fallout failures are as funny, yeah. Seems like in Fallout the story is driven as much by your failures as your successes. Exactly, the decisions are macro level, so the results are more obvious. Oh my god. Yeah, I think my mouse has a humiliation kink.
you're back before the cargo container. Its drawer has not and as it's always.
See, this is what happens. Either it happens the first time, or never. That's what he said.
You're back before the cargo container. Its drawer has not lessened since you were last here. If despite
Hey.
the dirt that surrounds and trails you, a beacon of light emerges from deep within you.
Should get into this video essay game. Do one on macro versus micro level decisions by comparing Fallout New Vegas and Disco Elysium. I'd watch it. Sounds very Jacob Geller. Do it. The market is not saturated, no matter what anybody says. Is anybody in there? Will my mouse work? God, this shit fucking sucks. I'm hungry. I want to eat. Come on. I gotta fix this for next time. This is not acceptable. It can't happen again. Otherwise, I will actually go insane. My head will actually explode. Sucks.
The door stands silent.
Satisfied, detective?
No.
Try again.
If there's someone in there, I'd like to talk to you.
Just like that, you hear a click, then a rattle. Some mechanism unlocks itself inside the door.
Just save and go eat. Well, I can't save if the mouse isn't working.
Ahoy! Come on in!
Oh.
You can't be serious.
We're gonna end it there. We're gonna talk to that guy next time. That's excellent motivation for me to fix this mouse. Okay. Oh, get up there. Come on, mouse. Yep. Alright. I'll be back Monday. God willing. Inshallah. Inshallah, my mouse works next time. Oh, this sucks. My mouse. Damn, your mouse is a douche. I know. Yeah, this is super not going to be acceptable with Fallout. 'Cause it's quite important that your mouse work in that game. So excited to find out your thoughts on Mayor Rich Light Bending Guy next time. It'll be fun. I can tell. Yes, we've got a lot to do next time. Okay. Come on. Come on. Save. Come on. Okay. Come on. Save. No. Come on. There we go. Okay. Okay. Thanks everybody for being here. It's been fun. I'm glad I was able to get shit finally working. Sort of. Finally. Kind of. Y'all have a good night. I'll let you see yourselves out since I'm gonna have problems pressing the stop streaming button. God, this sucks. What the fuck, man? Okay. Okay, there we go. Almost. Almost hovering over it. Goodbye. Everybody have a great weekend. Oh.